Hey guys, what I'm going to say now might blow your mind. It might get your blood boiling. It might even keep you awake at night. It will totally forever change the way you look at Battlegrounds and, more importantly, Barbarians. It all started with this particular post made by Just Another Bad Trait in Reddit, where he was just saying that the nerfs were insignificant. Now, among those nerfs, one of the points that he raised was Barbs still able to push the idols in Undying Rage. And I thought, is this even a problem? And man, this got me into a big rabbit hole. I just kept on thinking about this. As you can see, this was 11 hours before I'm making this video. This was the last thing that I was thinking before going to bed, and even the first thing when I woke up. I actually never thought about this. It was always considered, yes, Undying Rage means Barbs will be standing on point. You know, Barbs have earned the reputation of Barbs are meant to die at point, right? So that was because of this particular skill, Undying Rage. And suddenly this question comes, should the Barbs be able to push the idol during Undying Rage? Or more specifically, should any type of iframe skills be allowed to push the idols? So if you see, what he meant was that the person was that the Undying Rage is like an iframes. Iframes mean immunity frames. It means a period of time where damage does not matter. Whatever damage you deal to the character, it is not going to die, right? And a lot of classes have iframe skills, but they are treated differently than Barbarians. Let me tell you with an example what I mean, right? So first is Necromancer. Necromancer during Wraith form cannot push the idol, right? Because during Wraith form you cannot damage Necromancers, and hence they cannot push idol during Wraith form. They have to be in their normal form, right? Same thing happens with Blood Knight. When Blood Knight is in Sanguinate mode, the Sanguinate is not considered for pushing the idol, and the idol won't move forward. Same thing happens with Wizard, alright? There is an Ice Crystal skill, and in this skill basically the wizard traps himself into the ice crystal and they are immune to everything. Same thing happens with Tempest or Windwalk. So this also gives you a few seconds of iframes, right? So all of these skills for all the different classes gives you iframes where they cannot take any damage, and hence they are not able to push the idol. And by the way, there are some invisibility skills which are also present in the game, where the classes like Monk, Demon Hunter, whenever they are invisible, they will not be able to push the idol, right? So invisibility, iframes, on these conditions, the idol won't move. And I think that was pretty fair. But there is only one exception to this rule, and that is Barbarians Undying Rage. If you think about it carefully, Undying Rage is nothing but an iframes, right? But it lasts for 6 to 7 seconds, something like that, right? And in that time, Barbarians won't die. They can stand on the point and they can push the point, while the other classes cannot. So a big disparity has come forward. So it is time for equality. It is time for justice, right? So I woke up in the morning and first thing I did was I chose violence, and I went into Discord communities and asked for a poll whether Barbarians Undying Rage should be able to push the idol or not. Now I did not completely make my mind. I did not have a strong opinion either ways, but I thought it was a perfect chance to get the discussion going, because this is something very interesting and I don't think so anyone has thought about it much, or it has been discussed in the community a lot. But I thought this was a very good opportunity, so let's talk about it. And man, I got very good arguments for both the sides, whether it should be considered or should not be considered, right? So let's look some of the main arguments. Like, one of the main arguments, this was I think posted by RDK, right? Baby RDK. Basically, he talks about CC immunity, and it's a very great point. When Barbarians are in, Undying Rage, you can still CC them, you can knock them out of their place. However, I understand there is a helmet for Barbarian which can even make them immune to CC, but that's a separate thing. That's a separate skill, Demoralize, right? I'm talking about solely about Undying Rage. So Undying Rage does not give you CC immunity, right? But however, these other skills, like Wraith Form, Wind Walk, Sanguinate, Ice Crystal, you are completely immune. No one can touch you, no one can CC you, and that's why those are different. And basically barbarians are different. So this is one point in favor of barbarians. However, there is a counterpoint as well in this particular case. The counterpoint is, can they survive dots? So whenever you get a dot for, say example, Necromancer, Blood Knight, and then they enter into these particular, then they activate these skills, iframes, they can still die from these dots, because dots don't go away when you enter into iframes, and hence even after the iframes, even after these skills are launched, they can still die. However, can barbs survive these dots? The answer is yes. Once the dot starts, and maybe the barbs automatically, keep in mind that is another point, barbs and Undying Rage happens automatically, while these things are special skills, we have to press it manually, right? So automatically it will enter into Undying Rage, and usually dots do not last for 7 seconds, right? Like the Barbarians Undying Rage. Basically barbs have the potential of surviving even the dots. The dots is not going to kill you, it is not going to outlast the Undying Rage, unless the dot is applied later on, and maybe after the Undying Rage is over, maybe it is still going on, and then it is going to die. So I think this is also a very good point, that on one side these iframes, even though they are iframes, they are still not as strong as barbs. Like barbs don't die during their iframe, whereas other classes iframes are going to die when their iframes is up, right? So one point is CC immunity, that is goes towards barb, and the other part is dot, and that is goes against the barbs. So yeah, this discussion has come into some pretty uncharted areas which was never discussed or thought before. I mean, not by me at least, maybe someone thought out there, I don't know. But yeah, this was something new, and it was very, very interesting. So what are my thoughts? Before I tell you my thoughts, I think there was one more point that was brought out, and that was relating to Crusaders. So Crusaders have Conjuration of Light, and that is also a damage immunity, and they can also push the idols just like barbs, and that's why they are considered as the tanks, right? So yeah, there is one counter argument for this as well, that this is a buff. Those attacks, those skills are special skills that are for the particular person. However, this Conjuration of Light is for the particular party, it is for everyone in the party. And there is another point, is that Barbarians is the only class where that skill triggers passively automatically. However, for all other classes, the iframe skills has to be manually timed in the perfect time, so that you do not waste it. So that is actually another big advantage that Barbarians get, that triggers automatically and passively, and that is also like an iframe, right? So the iframes of barbs is just way ahead than any other class. So what are my thoughts, final thoughts related to Barbarians? So I still do not have a very strong opinion towards both the sides, but I will say some things. So what I will say is that if you want to be completely equal equal ground and justified grounds, maybe yes, Barbarians do have an iframe, and that is not at par with other class. This iframe is just some next level iframe, which is no other class has come close to. But on the other hand, this is the key defining element of Barbarian, which no other class has. Barbarian is all about Undying Rage, and Undying Rage is Barbarian, Barbarian is Undying Rage, right? These two go hand in hand. There was a time before 3 months I'm talking about, when Barbarian was not in the meta, the chains were not out, and Barbarian were doing pretty badly. This was the only skill which allowed them to somehow survive in the Battlegrounds. So yeah, at that time the Barbarian, in my 2 years, I think one of the most irritating things that I've heard in Battlegrounds was Barbarians are meant to die on point. It was so irritating for me to hear that, because I have played Barbarian during previous times, but finally in the last 3 months no one says this, like Barbarians are meant to die on point. They kill everyone on the point, right? So yeah, things have changed, and keep in mind, in future Barbarian might also get nerfed. If you have been playing Diablo Immortal for a long time, you know that all the classes have their time. This barbarian reign has been going for too long, but trust me, eventually barbarians will also, get they will also slide down and some other class will come up. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, just because barbarians are at the top, a lot of people are of the opinion, yeah man, just bring them down, man, in any way. Nerf the Undying Rage. So I think that Undying Rage is, the defining factor for Barbarian. It is kind of their identity, and just because of that, I think, yeah, Undying Rage should be, left, left out of this iframes, and it should be an exception. All other class does have an iframe, and I do believe that iframes, during iframe, the idol should not move. I really believe that, and that is really good for the game. But for this one particular iframe, I am, my bias is toward that, we should just let them be. Even though, yeah, if you think, like, equality, treat each class equally, we need justice in those terms, yeah, this one might be, crossing the line. This skill is really something which other classes don't have, right? So yeah, this was a crazy this is a crazy topic that I came across today, and I thought, I'll quickly make a video, quickly put up a presentation up, and start the discussion here on the YouTube. What do you guys think should be the right way to go? I still don't have a strong opinion, but I'm reading both the comments from both the sides. Some people are really tired of this, and some people are totally against it, right? So yeah, there are arguments on both the side, and I'm really curious to what do you think, right? So that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.